Hey guys, this is a recording from one of my live video coaching sessions inside of the Trade Your Edge membership, where I break down real trades and setups. I hope you enjoy the video and that it's helpful to you in your trading. Thanks.
One of the things I wanted to do to kick off was go through this trade. Let me pull up another trading view. I have it set up to do something new that I haven't done before. That's do the replay. So you can play it like a video. I want to do that and show you what I was looking at this morning and what I was thinking. The question you had was, what do you do as you're moving away from the Fibonacci levels and moving back toward them?
But right now we're at that 38.2 level.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is a key level for Fibonacci lines, because a lot of big money, especially if they're trying to get out, we have this downtrend. If they're looking for bounces to sell into, 38%, the Fibonacci lines is programmed into a lot of algorithms as a good spot to exit, to sell the bounce.
Although with the volatility we have now, that's a little suspect. We had more 1% moves already this year than all of last year.
Yes, exactly.
There's a theory that says this is all of this jerking around so the big guys can make money because they know what's coming next.
Yes,
They're front running the market.
Yeah, a lot of theories going around right now. But if you look at it, once we got down to this bottom, if you had sold at that 38% level, you would have lost, like the first time we got back. If you shorted there, you were wrong for a little bit, but then made a good chunk of money. And then if you sold again at the 38% level and shorted, you would have made another good chunk of money.
It's moving so fast.
So what you do is have a couple of things. One is you have the 20 to be like a stop level. Like you don't want to have a big move above the 20, which would have worked fine. And the other piece is you can, although it's a ways away, to use that second Fibonacci level at 50% as a stop. The 20 would have worked fine. Catching this down trending 20 was also a good place to short, another good place to short. So coming into today, we had popped above the 38% level, 55. I just call it 455. We popped above it and we were all above the 20. So two sort of bullish indicators. And this morning, someone asked in the Discord group, what are you thinking? Are you more bullish or not with this open we have today? My response was, I want to watch for 10, 15 minutes, like see what we do. If I drop down to the 2-minute, this is the open this morning, like 15 minutes at 9:48. A couple of things are going on. We gapped up, which is bullish. We've gapped above that 455 level, which is bullish. We're above the 20 on the daily, which is bullish. And we have two news events going on. This is where discretionary trading, which I like to do, comes in. It's a combination of using your technicals, but also using your head. We've got bullish action going on in the gap. The first story is that Trump's not going to try to fire Powell, which just came out yesterday evening, and the futures ran up. If I put in the extended hours, you would see a pop higher. So we open up higher. The second story that comes out is that Bassett has said that tariffs on China are not going to be like 145%. It's more like 50%. They've said, Bassett and Trump, that if and when we will negotiate this.
Trump has softened his stance towards China, at least for the day.
The softening is where I was having an issue with where the market was. And it's what I was telling people in the Discord who were saying exactly what you said. He softened the stance.
which would be bullish. So far, everything's bullish, but you're going to tell me some reason you were still cautious.
Exactly. That was part of the reason we're up. That's bullish,
Yeah.
like the stance softening. It's not
Right.
145% tariffs, it's
Right.
50%. But
Yeah.
then think about that, like the actual news. He said we're going to negotiate. Well, that's not news. He said all along he wants to negotiate. It has said the tariffs are 50% as
Right.
opposed to 145. That's not good news. If you said that a month ago, everyone would have freaked.
But it's all relative. Compared to
Right?
145, it's good.
Exactly. So relevant. People are coming on and saying, this is good news, 50%. To me, and this is what I was saying in the Discord, I don't see the good news. We're going to negotiate at 10 o'clock. Bassett did his presentation at the IMF conference in DC right now, where the IMF's there, the World Bank's there. I watched it. He started at 10 and ended just after 10:20. I said in the Discord that the 454 puts, which were trading at $1.10 at the time, I'm like, these look pretty good.
Yeah.
Because to me, there wasn't real news. I listened to his speech, and he did three things in his speech. The expectation was that he was going to say something that was good news in the speech. This is what he said, three things. The first thing he said was, what China's doing is wrong. It's been wrong for years. They're going to have to fix it. It's not sustainable, which was taken as good news that the 145% tariffs is not sustainable, which is what he had said before. But he wasn't saying it's not sustainable as in we are going to give in and drop our tariffs. He was saying it's not sustainable to keep going the way it is. It has to be changed, which is the story that's been happening all along. The US is here to help China get it right. So it was, yeah, we want to trade with you guys. This was the other comment that was quoted on CNBC and other outlets as being softer and better. America first does not mean America alone. It means America working together with other countries. That was like, oh, bullish. But then if you kept listening, he was saying it's still America first. So as long as you guys do what we say and trade the way that we want to trade,
Right.
and drop your tariff barriers and your trade barriers, then yeah, we want to trade, be open to trading. If you do what I say, then it's all going to be good. It didn't come across as bullish to me. That was the first thing he said. And the other two things that he did in his 20-minute speech was slam the IMF as not doing what they're supposed to do. Their charter is X, Y, and Z around monetary policy, and all they do is climate change and DEI stuff. They're not doing what they're supposed to, and we need to fix that. The World Bank is not doing what it's supposed to do. It was designed to do X, Y, and Z, and all it's doing is this social policies and not doing it all what they're supposed to. And we're going to fix it. We're going to be engaged internationally. And our engagement is going to be fixing those things, which again is not caving. It's not backing off at all. It was the opposite. So let me hit play on this thing. See if this works. This is the 2-minute chart. And this is the point where he finished his speech. Here's two things I was looking at. The first was this. When you get a move higher like this, one of the things that I always look for, and this is a technical analysis piece, on the 2-minute chart, when the 20 MA catches up, you want to see a touch of that 2 and then a pop higher. And that's bullish. That's what should happen in a bullish move. You get a pop higher, a base, it catches the 20 that's rising, and then goes higher off that 20. It slides higher off that 20. I didn't see that. That was the first thing on the technical side, not the news side, that something was wrong, right? That it wasn't like, oh, we're off to the races and we're just going to go higher. At 10:20, which is where I paused, that's also when he finished his speech. In my thinking, we popped above that 455 level. Technically, as far as price action, we've maintained a base, but we did not do what we should have done when the two caught up, and that is to jump higher. This is exactly when I said it's probably a good idea. We hit that 20 and didn't move higher. I was looking at this level, this 459, basically. It's the 459.16. Just call it 459. This level here for a break of that and to move lower. We didn't do it. We popped back, but now you've got resistance here. We moved through here, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm wrong. I may have misinterpreted this, but the way we popped through was on these small candles, and then we almost immediately reversed. It just took a couple of minutes to go back into the range. I was a little more relaxed, even though for $1 wasn't like you're betting a mortgage on this. Take it out at 40 cents or 50 cents and call it a day. Or I want to double out of these puts. That's what you're looking for. That's what I'm looking for in that situation. Exactly what you were saying earlier, Schroeder. So it was not working, but it wasn't working against me enough to say throw in the towel at this point. So I just let it go. If we had gone above this level again, that probably would have been a stop out for me. But we just started going sideways. I didn't like the news action, and there was nothing going on where it said this Bassett news really is good because X. There was nothing I saw in there. We weren't having much discussion in the Discord because we were just like flattened out here. If you didn't get in there, a good spot to get in on a possible move lower was here was the power bar, and this power bar broke this support level that we had earlier in the morning. And then someone asked, what's your target for the puts? Like, where do you see the cues going? And the answer is 455. Good news that turns to bad news. And somewhere in here, there was a tweet, and Bassett was like, yeah, I want to do these deals and get this stuff done. But usually a tariff deal can take a couple of years to get done. And there was a tweet, someone put it in the Discord, but it was like, yeah, we want to work with these people and work these things out, but that can take a couple of years to get that done. So you're getting these whipsaws of good news are played out. It worked. And you could have gotten in after where I was saying you could have gotten in probably a little bit cheaper and done even a better trade. But that's where we went, right? We went to 455. We started bouncing off of that level because that was a level. So we got to 455 and we stayed at that level for the next half an hour or so. And then someone else asked, and this is what I was doing. I was flipping back. I'm looking at the 2 minute. I'm looking at the 5 minute to see where the 20 is and the 50 is. If we get to 453, if we drift lower past that 455 level, then we could get down to around 453. The reason I said that was because that's where the 50 on the 5 minute chart was. If you're looking for, okay, now we're starting to roll a little bit, but it's not that you should be all out bearish because we had this gap higher. So you had all those bullish things that we listed off to begin with. Those were still in place. The stuff about Powell and not firing him, like that's important. So if we fall, it shouldn't be a rout again, because you did have some actual good news, in my opinion, we just treated the Besson stuff as too good of news. So when we fell back, I was looking for the 453 level because of this. That's why, like I said, people were asking some of the Discord, and I was going through it, but that's what I was watching, where that 50 was on the 5 minute as a next level down, right? It's not just the Fibonacci levels, because especially intraday, be like, oh, we broke the 455 level. So now I'm looking for 435. You have to look at other levels in between for intraday as you're trading. So you're both using, this goes to your question, you're both using the Fibonacci 455 levels, that 38%, 455, you're using 435. But if you're trading on a shorter time frame, those levels become a part. Let me do this. I didn't want to have this like this because it makes it more difficult to show when I'm trading intraday, but I didn't want to have these like in there because it makes these like weird colors. Let me put it, what is it for A239? Put this back at the right spot. So here's what you're doing intraday. You have, and this is the 2 minute chart, right? You have, and this is the 455 and the Fibonacci line. I have these on my chart so that I'm looking for targets, right? So where could we go if we drop from these levels? Where could we go? 455. That's a good target to have because it's a Fibonacci line. Now that we're down here, if we start going lower on my 2 minute chart combined with the daily Fibonacci's, I don't have any levels. What am I looking for? If we start drifting lower, there's nothing there, right? Don't have anything I can use. So I dropped to a 5 minute chart in different time frames. Now I've got a level, right? I've got the rising 50. We're under the 20, we're under the 13, but we've got the 50. If we were under the 50, I would plop in the 100 and see where that was. But for here this morning, I'm looking for that next level, and it's the 453 level, and we ended up going to 453.36. That's your next level, or you want to look for a possible turn, is that level. And we had a hairpin turn right there. We had a hairpin turn, decent red candle, and a full reversal with a green candle. So if you're really in there trading minute by minute and paying close attention, that's a nice hairpin turn. It's under the 20, so it's not super exciting. But if you're short, you want to have a tight stop because we recovered that 455 level on this green candle. That's another bullish thing for a move back into this range above the 38% range. Here we tested a double bottom. So again, the 453 level was good for a trade. The other thing was I went to an hourly chart a couple of times during the day. This made me feel good when I had the puts. This was what was forming on the hourly chart, right? This was hairpin turn on the hourly chart that made it look lower. It ended at 10:30, right? This candle. So you had a hairpin turn in the opening of the morning. This again made me feel a little better with the short position going back down to 955. So that's the things I was looking at. And if you went to the hourly, you also saw that this level was resistance, right? That's where we got to on the 15th. So the hourly chart, where the 2 minute, I didn't have any levels. Start going up in your time frames and look for levels. And hourly, you'll definitely find levels. Usually you'll find something on the 5, and usually on the 15, you'll find something. You could have seen it because this gets close to what the hourly is showing. This is what was on the hourly as well. And that'll give you levels. So that's what I saw this morning. That was the news I saw. Those were the charts I was looking at. I was looking again at the 2, the 5, the hourly. Where would we go on a pullback? We did have good news, so I wasn't discounting it completely. Somebody asked me in the Discord, you think we're going to go all the way back to yesterday's highs? My answer was no. I really doubt that, because we did have good news and everything wasn't lost. It wasn't that kind of news day. The other piece was Tesla. This happened after the open as well. I was also watching this. If Tesla had gapped and opened up here and then took off and just went higher, I would have been much less willing to do that short on the Qs, but it didn't. It did this, which was against expectations. I think traders thought that Tesla would gap. What have we been talking about for the past couple of months? When Elon says, I'm leaving Doge, I'm going back to Tesla and do my work. If that's the bell, right? You better get your Tesla, because that was the bottom in Tesla. And that's what he said yesterday on the earnings call. So you got the gap up, and I expected it's going to gap and be at probably 265, on its way to 270, and on its way to this falling 50 on the daily pretty quick today. I wouldn't have been surprised if it gapped up and kept going, but it didn't. That was another factor when I was thinking this should have been really bullish, and it wasn't as bullish as it should have been. Even though it cleared the opening high and went a little bit higher, this was a check in the negative box, right? That it didn't do what it was supposed to. So that's the stuff I was seeing this morning, how I was using the Fibonacci levels and combining it with the various charts and the moving averages to point out that put trade. The puts were 110 when I said it, and they got to 2 on this pullback here. They got to 215, something like that. So it was basically a double at this point. But that was what I was looking at. You also had, if you know what we talked about before, power bar off the 20, 1 push, 2 push, 3 push. That also put us at that 253 level. And once you get 3 pushes, that's a really good trade. And it's not unusual to see a reversal at those 3 pushes. And that's exactly what we had, right? 1, 2, 3, reverse. So that's what I wanted to do today. And this was put a lot of stuff together that we've talked about from different strategies and bring in, again, how it plays with the Fibonacci's.